Oh, my boyfriend and I are trying to lose weight and he's already lost 5 kilos and I've only lost 2. What am I doing wrong? This is something I hear pretty often and it can be demotivating for a lot of women. But you're most likely not doing anything wrong. Most of the time, men will have a much larger total daily energy expenditure, meaning they're burning more calories day to day. And a huge chunk of that is non-exercise related, so it doesn't mean you need to go and burn twice as many calories. Let's do 2 examples. Your boyfriend burns 3,500 calories a day just doing their day-to-day activities and their regular exercise routine, and you only burn 2,000 calories a day. Now in theory, if you could have the same calorie deficit, so you subtract by the same amount, whether that's 500 calories or 1,000 calories, you'd lose the same amount of weight. But it'd be much easier for most men to have a bigger deficit because they've got a bigger calorie pool to pull from without resorting to boiled chicken breast and salad. So rather than thinking you need to lose half a kilo a week, 1 kilo a week, kilo and a half that are just arbitrary numbers, a better way to do it is using a percentage of your body weight. The best encompassing range is usually between 0.5% and 1% per week. The reason for this is much lower than 0.5% per week. It's really hard to track those changes and see if you're making progress over time. If you had an extra meal out or you had more tracking errors than normal, then that could easily wipe out your deficit if it's only a small deficit to begin with. Much more than 1% and adherence, so being able to actually stick to your calorie targets for the week, becomes a lot harder and you may have a higher risk of losing muscle. Around 1.5% is getting into the very aggressive territory, and that might only be more appropriate for smaller time windows, or if you're obese, you have a lot of weight to lose and your body has a lot of reserves to pull from so you don't lose muscle. And I always recommend weight training ideally at least 2 times a week, but really whatever you can stick to and what actually works. So have your range picked. For most people, it'll fall between that 0.5% and 1% per week, and focus on what you're doing and your own progress and try not to compare it as much. You want improvement relative to you.